Secretary Kennedy, shut your mouth. I'm here. I reclaim my time. Be quiet while I ask you questions. You, sir, are under the oversight of this body. RFK had another freak out in a congressional hearing yesterday, a tantrum, right? And it's not just YouTube language. Oh, he threw a tantrum. He freaked out. He freaked out. He had a tantrum. Even Patty Murray, milquetoast Patty Murray, conservative in personality, Patty Murray. She's not a bomb thrower. She's not a wild questioner. She doesn't throw invectives. She's not aggressive. It's Patty Murray from Washington. She had this to say about his performance in this clip that I'm getting ready to show you. This is what she wrote on Twitter. I don't want this to get lost. After Robert F. Kennedy Jr. finished with his tantrum, he admitted he is blocking billions in federal child care funding. This needs to change immediately. You see, when they find out, when they are dead to rights, they're caught, they're busted, what they do is either deny and lie and create conspiracy theories, or they point the finger in the other direction. And if that's absolutely what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. did here. What have you done? Well, chronic disease. Blah. He went off and on and on and on and on and on and on, acting as though he was the questioner, acting as though he was elected to provide oversight. He was not. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was not elected to office. Donald Trump, unfortunately, was. And the Senate saw fit to confirm this anti-science, anti-vaccine conspiracy theory nutter butter, brain eaten by an amoeba of some sort. Some brain worm got in there and chewed around, making his situation even more untenable than it was before. This carrier around in his minivan of dead bears and chainsaw of the heads of beached whales. This bather in sewage with his grandchildren here in Washington, D.C. This absolutely unfit maniac leveled a ton of accusations when he's being questioned about his role, his cuts, and the millions of Americans who will be inexorably harmed by the policies under his helming of the Health and Human Services Department. Watch this conniption that was had by Robert Kennedy Jr.
Well, Mr. Secretary, HHS is delaying billions in funding for Head Start and child care. These funding delays meant that a Head Start program in my state that serves more than 400 children had to close its doors and left parents scrambling. So let me ask you about another child care issue. Secretary Kennedy, whose decision was it to withhold child care and development block grant funding?
Senator, I want to point out that in 2021, at the beginning of his administration, President Biden submitted his budget on May. You know what? You made an accusation of me, and I'm going to answer it.
Okay, I appreciate
On May
that.
28th, he submitted his budget. So our budget. We're a new administration.
Okay, you can.
And I also want to point out.
I have just 2 minutes left. I asked you a specific.
I want to point out something, Senator. You presided here, I think, for 32 years. You presided over the destruction of the health of the American people.
Well,
our people are now the sickest people in the world.
Seriously,
because you have
Mr.
not done your job.
Seriously. That is an
what have
amazing
you done about it? What have you done about the epidemic of chronic disease?
Mr. Secretary,
what have you done about the epidemic of chronic disease?
Seriously, Madam
Secretary,
Chairman.
I would ask you to hold back and let the Senator ask the questions.
Mr. Secretary, I'm asking you a question about child care. I'm asking you who made the decision to withhold child care and development block grant funding.
That was made by my department.
Okay, and you said last week, quote, we were not cutting thousands of scientists, we are not cutting clinical trials, but I want you to know in the last 4 months, you fired or pushed out nearly 5,000 NIH staff and terminated more than 1,600 NIH grants. That includes more than 240 clinical trials across the country. So whose decision was it to fire scientists and terminate these NIH grants and the clinical trials?
Senator, I don't trust your information with all due respect.
Look, we need to stop with this kid glove nonsense, this showing undue respect for these people who don't deserve it. Patty Murray there. Again, this just shows how gentle she is, that she's not some bomb thrower. Rather than say, Secretary Kennedy, shut your mouth. I'm here. I reclaim my time. Be quiet while I ask you questions. You, sir, are under the oversight of this body. Instead, she's looking to the chairwoman. Please, make him be quiet. We need an opposition party. We need fighters in this party. And I'm not saying Patty Murray's not, but maybe there's a certain group of individuals in the Senate who are not ready for this moment. I'm not even saying she's one of them, but we have a problem if we cannot fight back with vigor. This is a man who, as he's charging her, what have you done about chronic disease, is out there telling the media only sick kids die from the measles, which is factually untrue, while saying, downplaying the necessity of getting your children vaccinated against measles, mumps, and rubella. More than 1,000 people, more than 1,000 cases, maybe 2,000 cases at this point of measles in this country, a disease that was considered eradicated in the early 2000s. Yet he's making the charge that, what have you done about chronic disease? And then when she asks him, who made these cuts? After all of the bluster and all of the misdirection, he says, I did. That was my department that made it. He's the top. The buck stops here. If his department did it, it means he did it. He made the cuts. There's a lot of talk about resources, natural resources, being energy independent. Our greatest natural resource is our children, is the future they will build for this nation, for our people, for our culture, for our society, for the world. And if we can't support them in their early education, what are we doing? We're making cuts of billions of dollars to our most precious in this country, while he screeds like he's swallowing molten glass, shards of glass. What have you done? What do you think? I would appreciate your feedback on this. If you're from Washington, you've got a good one, but maybe you should call the Capitol switchboard, 202-224-3121. Again, 202-224-3121, and get a hold of Patty Murray and tell her, bring it a little heavier next time. Come in a little hotter. Shut them down when they're trying to shut you down. You can also call me, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. I'd love to hear from you. Please subscribe to this channel. There's been some shady stuff going on with YouTube. Views very, very down. New subs very, very down. And you can help out. If you watch my channel with any regularity at all, please hit subscribe. It is free to do so, and I would appreciate it very much. Over the next couple of days, if you could watch my content, the stuff you didn't catch, watch it. That would also help. Like, comment, all those things. I love and appreciate you very much. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.